All right. Try that one more time. Moderators, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry about that.
No
Had
problem.
too many speakers on.
No problem. All right. Tell us why we're here.
Shalom, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today in the Perceiving Word. We are here for part 2 of Let's Catch a Movie today. And what is it that they are really trying to say? Enjoyed part 1 with our Apostles' discussion on Thor and Love and Thunder. You're definitely going to be enriched by our topic today. We want to remind you that the preceding word is here every Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm sorry. When are we here? When are we here?
Sorry, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. How about that? Woo. Monday, I'm ready for Sabbath. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. we are here under the Preceding Word Club. We also have a second club called Darash Kingdom Ministries, and you can join us tonight as we begin our Sabbath Midrash studies, and that will be at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then again Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. After that, you can join us on Sunday mornings at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Morrow After Sabbath service every Sunday, and then Wednesdays on our midweek Bible study at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And don't forget our third club, which is the Bible Book Club, every Thursday at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are still in a 21-day challenge. It is close to the end. We're on day 19, 3 days left to go. The challenge is to make sure that you look in the mirror every morning and ask yourself, who will you emulate today? Will it be his word or will it be the world? Apostle, we're so grateful for you. Yahweh be praised for your life. We turn it back over to you.
Well, again, we're here to push forward all things that are him.
You're on mute, sir.
Glad to have you all back with us as we prepare our hearts to get into what we know to be this study on this movie series. We want to watch this movie. We were talking about it before we got started last week, and all things that were related to it sort of kind of made sense, but then there were some other things that we were trying to make sure we understood. So how many of you actually got the chance to watch the movie? Nobody? Nobody got a chance to watch the movie. And the movie that we're talking about was the latest movie from the Marvel Comics called Thor. Now, there are several other movies that will be coming out, but I wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to watch it. How many of y'all got a chance to watch the movie Thor? Anybody?
I did.
I did.
I did.
All right. So with that being said, having watched the movie and making our efforts to understand it, there are a lot of parts in there that sort of kind of run our narrative into this place where we should really like discuss it. So as we were talking before about how much that goes on into these types of movies and these types of settings, we see that there are, as it were, an agenda pushed by what we like to call many different groups of people. And when you have these movies and your children are watching them and you and I are watching them and we're making some normalities or attempting normalizing certain types of things, it becomes a watch that we should all be on. I find very clearly that there are issues that we need to pay attention to. And we think it nothing, but it really does mean a lot. We think it nothing, but it really does mean a lot. And so as we understand most of what we, how do I say this rightly, Yahweh? We're grown, we can take anything and make something out of it, but we oftentimes may not realize a lot of what's being said. So, with that at the forefront, we want to talk about this movie and what agenda is being put forward. So, for those of you who saw the movie, I tried to explain it to you last week before Yahweh took over and gave us another render of a Ruach deck, a commandeering of Ruach HaKodesh. So let's just get through today's broadcast for the preceding word. Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. Now, I listened to the show. I watched it twice. I've always been a Marvel fan. As we explained earlier, there is this movie. It's called Thor: Love and Thunder, and the narrative, is that we are watching a individual who has been hurt, basically by its belief in gods. Now, Thor is a demigod, and many of the things that you see in the movie are about the demigodery and about a lot of Greek mythology and other types of faith systems gods, all except Yeshua. But you have a storyline that a man is besieged. His people are besieged. They serve a certain god, and their god is killed, or rather, their god is doesn't answer their prayers while they, people serving that god, are being killed. Uh, I'm going to try and speed through this as best I can. And so when we look at this gentleman is very attached because his people are being killed. The God he serves, he believes in, just like many of the faith systems. And when you get done this life, you go to be with your God, or whatever it means. And so, as the story continues, the war that he is in, they are losing. It affects him, and his daughter is smitten, and she is dying in his arms. He is praying to his God to help the people who pray to this God not be annihilated by another people. So the story he ends up getting into somehow the presence of his God. I think he becomes unconscious, or he actually dies. I actually forget how. Does anybody remember? Does he actually die in the beginning and then he's in the presence of his God, or is he like in a conscious state where he is transported into his God's presence? So he gets there, stands before his God, i.e., what he thinks is his maker. And that's the thing too. I want you to remember this. These stories don't talk about the fact that they never talk about the creator. They talk about gods, which I thought was a very interesting piece, because um, whatever people choose a certain god to serve, you choose a god you want to serve. So uh, all of these gods, again, are figments of imagination, and these gods have become so real to the people who have in their mind imagined these gods, made these gods, whatever they are. And so it puts people to trust in this God, these gods, whatever God they choose. He stands before his and is mocked by his God, hurt. The epitome of, becoming an atheist. He is crushed by what his God tells him. He then ends up killing his own God, and then vows to kill every other god, because so many people have been believing in these gods who don't even care about the people, right? Apostle, why are you taking so long to drag this out? Because I want y'all to understand we are in the end times. There are no more prophecies that need to happen. Uh, there are no more pieces of eschatology and prophecy that need to happen before the coming of our Savior. And there will be so many different types of ideologies that will be put forward. Even Yahweh our Elohim says he will send a delusion, a spirit of delusion into the land that even the very elect will be fooled or won't be able to recognize it. And they'll believe the lie rather than the truth. Now, when this demigod offends the intellect of this man, he kills this god, then grabs this sword. And this is where we stopped last time. So I got to get past this point, right? He has this necromancing sword, this necro sword, and it's dark, it's gray, it's evil, personifies, it's a life extractor, it's creepy, right? So this sword kills this guy's demigod. He snatches off his demigod symbolism, takes it off, throws it down, and then he, in his rage about how his demigod that he's looked up to all of his life, believed he would spend his eternal life with this God if they did whatever in the earth. The typical idea we all have about, heaven or wherever else other faith systems say you go after life, right? So he's shocked by his hero, his God. He kills his hero, his God, with this sword, because the sword is motivated by revenge and bitterness and hurt and pain and all those things that go along with that. So now, as he begins to process this, once this sword is in your hand, it infects you. So the guy goes through this phase where he is now on a rampage to kill every systematic God and God of religion and faith and belief by every people on the planet. It's just what he does, right? So he's going through the galaxy, killing these gods. Thor comes across this person, this entity by mistake, because he is a demigod flying from galaxies to save people, because that's what these demigods do, right? And he runs across one of his friends who is injured in a war that another demigod is killed in, and this god killer, that's what we're going to call this guy named Gorr, Gorr. And then you have the main character, Thor, Thor. But Gorr kills this demigod. She was fighting to protect this demigod's region, and unsuccessfully, because Gorr kills them. Thor hears her cry in the galaxy, runs over there to her, and finds out from her in her injured state that his people, Asgard, that he's God over, is next. So he runs home, and surely Asgard is under attack by this guy named Gorr, this evil guy who wants to kill every demigod. Now, the thing is that this guy's sword is where his power comes from. So his sword he puts into the ground. And once he puts it into the ground, the Adoma, it begins to produce the essence of the evil of this sword. Now, remember this piece, and I'm looking at all these passages that come up in my head while I'm watching the movie. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against principality and power and ruler of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. Um, I need someone to check something for me. I have an individual who is being blocked on Facebook, and I need to make sure that doesn't happen again. So apparently, they're telling me that they've been blocked off of Facebook because they commented on our broadcast and on our channel. I need to make sure that we, within our rights and understanding and powers on StreamYard, um, haven't reported anyone unless I've given authorization to have that person's reported. Um, I'd like for you who just text me to go back on Facebook and try it again. But those who are in the authority on Facebook, which and StreamYard, make sure that that's not what's happening. So they were blocked for 24 hours for commenting on our page. Nothing negative. This person I just had a session with, so I need us to pay attention to that. Sorry for everybody else who had to be subject to that slight distraction, but I want to make sure that that gets handled ASAP. I think it's Rosenberg. I think it's Rosenberg's tag name. So those who know what to do, look for that. So let's get back to the storyline. This demigod, and remember, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principality and power and ruler of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. So even from the very beginning, this guy kills his demigod. It wasn't him who killed the demigod. It was the spirit, the a spiritual principality and municipality that is anti-gods, right? Now, we're not talking about our God, the living and true God. But I want to make this clear that nowhere in these movies do they talk about the creator. They just talk about gods in their realms, in their tiers, right? We never talk about the creator of all the universe. We talk about, as Greek mythology does, which the point is that this is the Greek mythology and the demagoguery that is under the God of all creation. And the only reason the demagoguery and the Greek mythology has its hold on humanity is because humanity is allowed to think. They are their own moral, free will, moral agency. And Yahweh allows man to think what man thinks he wants to do and give his power to where he wants to give it to, though Yahweh, the creator, would for all men to give their power and their love and their alliance and allegiance to him. Now, let me move on. So that part becomes weird. Now, as we look at something that really mirrors our world today, we start to see these principalities and powers operating throughout this movie. And I'm going to really make it short today because I want to rest and get into Shabbat soon. But this guy is so filled now with evil. He's first filled with revenge. He's first filled with hurt because he believed something foolishly and blindly and then found out that that he believed in was not his effort, time, and sacrifice wasn't honored, right? Now, we all know this is fiction. It's all fiction. But you'll be surprised how many people believe in the gods that are mentioned in this fictional movie. So as he does what he does, he kills a god, goes after Asgard, coming for Thor. But he's coming for Thor differently because Thor actually has the key. to give him the ultimate ability to kill all demigods. So we have this atheistic movement killing the emotional attachments that humanity has towards believing in, as it were, forget the God of all creation, just a higher power. Uh, we've been hearing those words in our real world, not the movie, in our real world, your world and my world. We've been hearing about the God of your understanding. You have to believe in a higher power, right? I don't believe in a higher power. First off, let's be very clear. I do not believe in a higher power. I believe in the creator of the heavens and the earth and all that therein dwells. You can find him in the book of Bereshit, which is known in the English vernacular as the book of Genesis, chapter 1. And Elohim created the heavens and the earth and all that therein dwells, right? So I don't believe in a higher God. Like the song says, our God is an awesome God. He reigns. Our God is not a awesome God. I really would that verbiage gets fixed. El Elyon, El Elohe Israel is the true and living God. Anything else that is not him is beneath him. It is the demagoguery. It is the fathomed and the generated from the mind uh, of intellect and need to say that humanity wants to have things its way. And Elohim, the creator of humanity, allows it because of our knowledge of good and evil. So when we sing songs that say our God is an awesome God, who wouldn't serve a God like that? It supports demagoguery. Yeah, I paused for effect. Your screen didn't freeze. And I know that this isn't a conversation everybody wants to have, but I want to use the movie to help us understand where we are. And when you understand that, as Paul tried to explain to you and I both, that we don't wrestle against principalities and against powers and against rulers of the darkness of this world, but against principalities and powers, rulers of darkness of the world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. The whole theme of what this guy does is he's impaled, he is impressed by spiritual wickedness in a high place. And, I like the fact that our Bible let us know something while the Pharisees and the Sadducees were fighting against Yeshua's existence and Yeshua's purpose in the earth when they said, Beelzebub, clearly that this Yeshua must have been of evil because Beelzebub can cast out his own evil. He casts out these evil spirits from people because he himself is evil. So evil can cast out evil. Apostle, what are you talking about? Well, this guy, Gore, is killing demigods because that is in the realm that is beneath the God of all creation, that the God of all creation allows humanity to fathom. So if you fathom it, you can kill it. Think about that. I'm going to pause for a second. So this guy in this entertaining plot goes on this rampage, runs up on Thor's land. Thor has something he needs, but Thor doesn't know what he's got. So Thor is this guy who has this power this guy needs. Now, any God you and I come up with will never, ever be the God of creation. Your lucky rabbit's foot, your witch doll, your voodoo doll, your hectogram, your Satanism, all these demigods, none of them are the God of creation. None of them, uh, none of these gods, this batch of uh, mythology and sorcery and wizardry um, is the creator of heaven and earth and all that therein dwells. None of them are. Our God is the only true El Elohe Israel. This is why we call him, some say, the Most High. I love and prefer El Elyon, which is the equivalent of the Most High. And a synonymous element of that is the El Shaddai, the Almighty, which is sufficiency in every capacity known. So when we, like I said, sing that song, our God is an awesome God, we need to stop it, because he's not an awesome God. He is the only true and living God, and every other God we've made up is so far beneath him. That's why in Ephesians it says that Messiah, who was sent by the Creator, because the Creator made a body for Adonai to dwell in, has put all things beneath his feet. So when Messiah obeyed Elohim to the death, he was then given the reward, as promised in Isaiah 53, of being placed far above all principality and power. Let me say it again. His reward was to be placed far above all other principality and power. That's why in the beginning of Bereshit 3, in Bereshit Genesis 3 and verse 15, he tells us that he will give woman seed. And the woman's seed would bruise his heel, would bruise the head of the serpent seed. And the serpent's seed, his head, would bruise the heel of the woman's seed. Again, far above. If this is principality and power, we sit in Messiah, who sits in the right hand of Elohim, El Elyon. We sit far above all principality and power. Always above. And this is the foot. This is the heel of our promise. And this is the highest extent of that which we wrestle against in the heavens and the earth. That's why being in El Elyon, he's far above any of these other demigods that could ever be fathomed by humanity and its intellect. By the way, Elohim gave humanity its intellect. Oh, Elohim created humanity. And we get caught up in all these entertaining ideas that we can have it our way, like we are Burger King. Remember in the 70s? Have it your way at Burger King. Remember that? You didn't like the burger one way, you could put lettuce, tomatoes, onions, remove lettuce, tomatoes, onions. Oh, throw cheese on it. Can I have some ketchup, please? Pickle. Yes, relish. Or not. You can have it your way because you are the Burger King. Have it your way. And let me help y'all with this. Life does not mirror that commercial. No matter how hard we try to make it our own way, Yahweh has a plan. Jeremiah 29:11. He's always had a plan. His plan is of good, not of evil, a plan to bring you and give you an expected end. So I want to make sure that we sort of kind of get that in the best possible way. Now, listen to this as we push forward into what we know to be the times of this word. So, in this piece, in this space, in this place, do y'all remember Burger King? Y'all remember that? Have it your way. Y'all remember that part? Have it your way. Y'all do. Because only two people remember that. Okay. Have it your way at Burger King, and that's how we are today. So this storyline fits that mentality that already exists amongst the kingdoms of men. So this entity is able, you can only kill what you create. You can't kill what Elohim has created. Elohim can't die, just like Elohim can't be born. Elohim can't die, just like Elohim can't be born. He is creation. He is life. And only he can end life. So therefore, he is death, right? So the thought that we as humans have the ability to, though murder and mayhem exist, that we are in control of death is something that this principality and power and ruler of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places wants you to think that you have control over death. You don't. But it sure does look like it when someone takes a weapon or a blunt object or a impaling object and drives it through another person's pulchritude and exposes their veins to air and they bleed out. The facts are that Elohim is still in control of when a person leaves this earth. How do I know that? Because it is appointed unto humanity once to die. That means that there is an appointment that each human has with death. Our intellect, our ideologies get caught up in how a person keeps their appointment, whether it was through a terrorist act or an act of war, or whether it's through a not just a terrorist act or an act of war, but maybe it's through a fight or a car accident or a what appears to be an pandemic or an epidemic or some virus or what have you. We get caught up in the how, not realizing the why, not realizing the appointment. No one leaves this planet until Yahweh says so. Therefore, it is appointed unto man once to die. You and I don't determine when someone dies. Oh yeah, they killed him. It's the how they die that gets us. The why is still Elohim. I just need about 5 people to say that Yahweh is in control.
Yahweh's in control. Yahweh is in control
of all things.
Yahweh's
Just
in control.
just like you could not control when you came into the earth. Some of your mothers and your mother and father couldn't even determine when you would come into the earth. Most don't even plan to have a child. And most who may be hoping to have a child, planning to have a child, don't know when the seed and the egg will connect. Only Yahweh does, because he plans when you come in, and Yahweh is so factual and so accurate, he plans when you leave. Yahweh doesn't do like we do. He don't start something, start it up real good, and then don't finish it. It's appointed for you to come in. It's an appointed for you to leave. And he is in control of both. So that makes him both life giver and life taker away, i.e. death. So there is no grim reaper. You know, it was funny because in another great movie, a classic movie by Cecil B. Mills called The Ten Commandments, you will find that Yahweh during the Passover, during the Pesach, he tells them to put, get the lamb, kill the lamb, put the blood on the doorposts and the lintels of the home that you're going to eat the lamb in. You can find this in the book of Shemot, Exodus chapter 12. He tells them to put the blood of the lamb on the door, and where I see the blood, I'll pass over that home, right? But what he said was, and Cecil B. Mills made the element, and others who've written this and others who've preached this have always said like a death angel came. And they went into Egypt and killed the firstborn of man and beast. It wasn't a death angel. An angel does not control death. The devil can't kill you. Oh, the devil tried to kill me. Stop saying that. You sound so ignorant. I'm sorry, and I hope I'm not being mean or you think I'm being facetious, but the devil can't kill you. Cannot. He didn't create you. So in Exodus, in Shemot chapter 12, the Bible says that Yahweh, the I am that I am, he says, I will come through the land. I will smite the demigods and take the life of the firstborn of both man and beast, because another demigod said he was going to take Israel's life, firstborn, man and beast. So I'm going to put on him what he spoke on, what I love. It is better for a man to not hurt someone that Yahweh loves, because he determines who does what. Now, I want to just put that point out there so y'all can get this. So Yahweh is in control of both life and death. Do y'all get that? He's in control of life and death. Yahweh, our Elohim, is there's none above him. There's none beside him. You know, I know the song, one nation under a groove, getting down. You can't get over him. So high, you can't get over him. So low, you can't get under him. So wide, you can't get around him. Y'all remember that song? Somebody having flashbacks. Yeah, that's right. Y'all have flashbacks. But you got to understand that Elohim is in control of both life and death. And there's no demigod that sits anywhere near him. But we have been entertaining this idea for so long. And now that we're coming to the point that there are no more prophecies that have to be fulfilled in eschatology, being the prophecies, because the only thing that we're waiting on now is the temple being rebuilt. And the temple does not have to be rebuilt before the rapture takes place. That's right. The temple will be rebuilt. Matter of fact, many have already gotten all things prepared for the rebuild of the temple. They just have to remove from the Temple Mount another demigod's temple that sits on the Temple Mount, because this demigod is also a part of Abraham's bloodline, who believes their understanding of what Abraham was teaching is another demigod, is another god, and their god of their understanding. And that god's temple sits on the Temple Mount. So what's going to be happening is, at some point, the mount will have this obstruction removed, and then the temple of Yahweh our Elohim, which would have been what a replication of what Solomon had built, will be rebuilt on that Temple Mount. And it'll take about 2 to 3 years to be done. Now, we have put that through the terms and understandings of eschatology into a very good timeline. It'll happen during the 7-year period. Some think earlier, some think later, some think right away, some think it'll just appear. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. There has to be a building. But the point is that there are no more prophecies that have to happen, but we're giving ourselves over to ideals via what we think are harmless, entertaining elements of movies. Now, I am not against movie watching. I am not. I'll go watch one in a heartbeat. But I want to make sure you understand the narratives and the itinerary and the agendas that are being pushed through our relax. You and I have to begin to understand that we can't fall for everything that's coming forward. And the more our children are seeing these items that we just let enter into their psyche by their eye gate, their ear gate, and then they regurgitate through their mouth gate, because once it comes out of their mouths, that what they're saying on TV, what they're hearing on the radio or hearing on TV, or in these spaces of drinking in information, once they regurgitate it, they're saying this is what we believe, and they're speaking that into their belief system, because you live in a voice activated kingdom. The only voice you listen to is yours. The issue is what information and where you're getting your information from. Now, the God of our creation speaks through the Torah. That's why he wants us every Shabbat to only speak the Torah so that we can drink in the Torah by our eyes, by reading it, hear it, because faith comes by hearing, but hearing comes by the word. We read the word, therefore we hear the word, and then we regurgitate the word, and his word becomes what our realities are shaped under, and that is where our faith is capable of pleasing the Father. Now, if you do not take in that information, and you take in this movie, and you take in the LGBTQ community's information, you take in atheism, you take in other demagoguery and other forms of the Darwinism, and you take in other forms of Catholicism, you take in the Laodiceans and the Nicolaitans, and you take in all that other stuff, and you begin to drink that in, hear that in, and then speak that out, then you become a free will agent of morality, and that's your morality code. Yahweh gave us the Torah. It's not just the code of morality, it's the creation of morality. Now we splinter off into other little things. That's why the Torah and the halakha are such a big issue. Now, those of you who study with me understand this. And so everything that we are talking about right here makes sense to you. But for those who don't, you'll think I'm just some crazy bald-headed guy, just a talking bubble, a talking head, just trying to be deep. If you understand what Torah and halakha are, Torah 613, it got watered down and turned into 3,000 to 4,000 instructions of Elohim, and the 3,000 to 4,000 instructions of Elohim overshadowed the Torah, so that when Messiah came, they could never see him because they could only see this. And that's what we're dealing with right now in our society. We're dealing with getting so much stuff, though there's no God. You're dealing with comets. You're dealing with, I shouldn't have said that, but you're dealing with all these other suggested ways of, the God of your understanding, a higher power. I remember going through in my days of addiction when I was young, and I had allowed myself to be subject to contraband, and I became an addict of cocaine, and I went through to get treatment, when my daughter was born, so I didn't want to lose my family. And so I went in and I submitted myself, and you go in there and the first thing you're told is, this system works when you work it. Now, a Bible was presented me, and Smith and his partner were talking about biblical principles, but then it became, you work this system and the system works when you work it, but you have to have a God of your understanding. So in this system, though promoting some biblical concepts, it would say that a God of your understanding could be a doorknob. Just find something to make it your God. I need y'all to understand this. I'm talking about clinical stuff that I know, but I'm trying not to be clinical. And I'm talking about spiritual stuff that I know, and I'm not trying to be a Bible thumper. I just want you to get this. That is being just hanging in the atmosphere of our lives. And so we were told you have to get a God of your understanding. So it could be a doorknob, it could be a tree, it could be a hanger, it could be a rabbit's foot, it could be your shoe. So I asked the counselor, who would say stuff like Jesus and then switch from Jesus and talk about Allah, then switch from Allah and talk about Kemet, then switch from Kemet and talk about Hirshi, and then go to Hare Krishna. And then they would just all over the place. You just got to focus. No, it works. These principles work, but you just got to find a God. This is what they told me. Find a God of your understanding. You and we all need a higher power, and your higher power, your higher power will be what you focus on when you get in that moment of temptation so that you don't go back and do drugs. This is the AANA way, and it will help in all the systems we are creating safe haven for you in. And I asked the counselor, I said, so you're telling me that I can make, and I wasn't being facetious, I was really trying to inquire. I'm coming off of drugs. This is before I go on the hot seat and realize that's a bunch of garbage. But I go and I'm asking, I'm saying, so you're telling me that this doorknob can be my God of higher power? And they're like, yes, absolutely. Okay, cool. And I thought about it for about 24 hours. I did. Maybe it might have been 36 hours. I did. I thought about it. And then I went to the doorknob, and I wanted the doorknob to stop me from going through it into the mess hall and getting some milk. Well, the doorknob didn't stop me. The doorknob didn't lock on its own. And I proceeded through the door and got milk. And I came back and told the counselor, I made that doorknob my higher power, and it didn't stop me from getting milk. So how would it stop me from getting cocaine if I leave this place? So if I turn the knob, I control the God. I got kicked out of the rehab. They put me out the rehab. I got kicked out the rehab. This is a true story. I was in that rehab for 7 days with the hot seat experience and that comment. They put me out of the rehab and would not give me a little marker, a little coin, a little tab you put on your shoulder to say you've been drink free for so many days. And I wanted one. I really wanted one, because that was the thing that you were in there for. You get these little markers, you get these little rewards that you are so many days, so many weeks, so many months, in sobriety. And they wouldn't give me anything to let me, and I was completely free, because after the 7th day, it was a 3-strike thing. Three strikes did it. First, I talked about their theory. And I didn't try to be mean. I talked about their theory. I'm like, well, if I control the doorknob, how can the doorknob control me? You say I can use that as my God and my higher power. Okay, fine. I said, well, you tell me I can believe that this oak tree out here can help me. I can focus and make it my God. What if I took an axe and cut my God down and use him for firewood?
You asking too many questions.
Well, that wasn't a question. It's just a shoot down. So here's the problem. So when that was the first thing, that was the first strike. Second strike was, while I'm going through all of this and sharing all this information, then they said to me, and they got people to sit with me, and we would share. And I talked to this person who was a Muslim. I talked to this person who was a Christian. I talked to this person who was an atheist, and talked to this person who was into, some other stuff, and who believed but wasn't a practicing Jew for Judaism. And then another person who was into Zen, right, but wasn't really practicing, because everybody's getting high. The Muslim, he getting high. I'm a 5%er. I'm like, bro, miss me with that, right? So, y'all, if you know what I know, if you know, if you don't worry about it. So they would listen to you talk, and they would share with you, and they get you to talk about, well, why are you here? Why you think you're here? And I'm like, yeah. And so next thing you know, you're talking about how you got here, your mom, your dad, your job, your wife, your husband, whatever your situation may have been or could have been. And these are the things that make it difficult for us to do what is necessary. So at the end of the day, we have these issues. Please hold on one second. I am on location right now, and I forgot to put my do not disturb up in my space. Moderators, would you take over, please, and tell us why we're here?
Shalom. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Preceding Word. We hope that you are enjoying our conversation on Let's Catch a Movie What is it they're really trying to say as Apostle breaks down for us the subliminal messages in the movie Thor, Love and Thunder? Preceding Word is here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If this is your first time in our club, please hit the green house above. We also want you to know that we have a second club, Darash Kingdom Ministries, and we are here studying in our Sabbath Midrash studies. We start tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then resume again Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, we have our Sunday morning service tomorrow after Sabbath. Every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. you can join us. And then under Darash, we also have our midweek Bible study every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our third club is the Bible Book Club, and we are here every Thursday at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, a reminder that we are on the countdown to ending our 21-day challenge. We are at day 19, the man in the mirror. We pray that it is blessing you and challenging you to ask yourself, who will you emulate today? Will it be his word or the world? Apostle, we return it back to you.
Well, I'm back, and I'm sorry, guys, for the technical things that we have to do. As you know, I'm on location. I'm visiting my daughter, who's having a very, very big event come up. So I'm not in my normal space and studio space. But at the end of the day, that distraction in the background, I had to go fix that up for housekeeping, want to do what they want to do. But anyway, back to the point. So I'm in this place of rehabilitation, an institution, very well known, very popular, makes mega money doing what it does in counseling, which is why I do so much substance abuse counseling. And all counseling is not the same. And this is when I left the AA and NA and Al-Anon and all those programs. They're needful for people. They are needful. They can be very good starters, but they are not the deliverance. They are the recovery. And let me say this before I move off of the point, and it'll seem like an ancillary piece, but it's very important. When you are a recovering addict, you never got delivered. Because you're still recovering. And with any major surgery, and this is spiritual, with any major surgery, they open you up, they take out or fix the issue, right? Best case scenario. They stitch you back up. They send you to recovery to recover. Once you recover, and they've checked you out, they've observed you for a certain period of time, making sure that the blood is pumping, making sure that this is taking, making sure that the staples and the sutures and everything is coming along, your bandages, your care, give you some PT, some OT, right? And you're getting back up, they're getting you a nutrition and all that stuff. And then they make you leave recovery and you go back into life. You've been healed. You keep saying you're in recovery, you're still being observed, which means you've not yet been healed. See, when I learned that, that's when I understood that when Messiah came into my life and kicked out all these other evil spirits, the cocaine, the drinking, the luring and the whoring and everything else, I was delivered, no longer recovering. See, that's deliverance. So to all of you with your deliverance services, if the same people keep coming back down to the altar for the same problem, you got them in recovery. You never got them delivered because you can't deliver them. They have to be a part of that deliverance, and they've got to give themselves over to the only one who can bring them up out of their muck and mire and place their feet on a rock to stay. All right. Let me get back to the point. So this movie has the element of so many other movies, but this time, and this is why I had to do this about this movie, because the movie, the movie, in the way that the series of Marvel comics are set up, became a comedic, idiotic presentation, and it did away with the seriousness of the fiction, and it became a bumbling, humorous, non Marvel theme carrying element other than the characters. All of a sudden, Thor is no longer this serious person. He is a bumbling, vulnerable, love seeking, love struck, love hurt, love lacking person, right? And so the reason I raised that is because their theme in this movie was threefold. One, atheism. You don't have to believe in gods. And I'll tell you why, because Thor kills Zeus. Zeus is supposed to be the demigod of demigods, right? The thunderbolt. And Zeus dies or is killed in this movie. This gets deeper. So if you watch the movie, watch this. Thor goes, asks for the help of all the demigods to kill a sword yielding human with a vengeance. And he wants all the demigods to join him to go kill a human who no longer sees these demigods as viable or necessary. Well, why are you talking about this, Apostle Jones? Just listen. So that's the atheistic part. Just slow down. You'll catch everything in order. So when you've been given a buffet of things to choose from, you are still choosing what you want. It's Burger King. So you got atheism. Then you have the part that I loved, which was really, really, really well wrapped. Choose love. Choose love. Don't choose hate. This human has waged war against us demigods because one, we're not real, and two, we're not real, but you've waged war against the demigods, and the demigods make the worlds better, give hope to the humans, but yet a human is killing the demigods that they pray to make life better, and a human is doing away with what makes their life better. We listen and absorb some tomfoolery in our days. The message does not get disseminated. So this Thor, this demigod, tells this human killing gods, fighting against him the whole time, takes Thor's weapon from his anger and his pain. The human takes Thor, a demigod's powerful weapon, to open a door to eternity, so that the human can bypass the demigods to get to eternity. And eternity is not a place. Eternity is an individual. It's an entity. And when you get to eternity, you can get a wish, as if you get past the level of demigods, principalities and powers and rulers of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. You can call them good or bad, however you want to play it. It don't matter to me. But once you get past them, you get to this place called eternity. You can rub eternity's belly and then ask eternity for a all-empowering gift to you. Well, now this human's goal was to get to eternity. He needed Thor's weapon to do it. Thor didn't know that. The demigod didn't know that the human knew more about the God world than the demigod did. Now, the demigod eventually figured it out, but that's where I have a problem. Like the doorknob. If I control the God, how can the God control me? If I can think ahead of the God, how can the God think to me? Just like Esther, like this Easter thing. If Ishtar and Nimrod have this spiritual baby, and the baby that Nimrod and Ishtar has is an egg inside of Ishtar, and Ishtar turns full term, and she gives birth to an egg. And as a demigod, a god, she then births this egg onto a cloud, and the egg was of gold, and the creation inside the egg drops through the cloud onto the earth, and this god can't find their egg. I got a problem with a mother not y'all get what I'm saying? My problem starts with a mother not being able to find her child in a supermarket. You get what I'm saying? Now you're going to tell me that a God who just gave birth, gods can't be born. A God who just gave birth to an egg, and the egg was dropped on the cloud, this pillow cloud, and this beautifully adorned egg. What's that place over there in London? What's that egg called? The what's that egg? What's that egg? What's that egg?
A Fabergé.
Fabergé. It's a fabricated story. I'm sorry. So the Fabergé egg. And so this egg drops off the cloud, and the how does a god not find anything? Don't know where it's at, and you send minions that serve you to go look for this lost egg. Why would I serve a God who loses me and can't find me and has to send out minions to look for me? My God knows where I'm at all times. The only true and living Elohim made me. He knows the number of each hair follicle on my head, my beard, my back, my underarm. If I got hair growing on my toes, he's numbered it. He know more about me. He is never going to lose me. I'll always be there. So why would I serve Easter if she can't even find her egg? Oh, that's why the Christian church, you send your children to go looking for that egg. That's the reason you have your Easter egg hunt. Did y'all know that?
No.
Because the demigod Easter couldn't find her egg, so she sent her minions. So now you relegate your children for a one-time service every year called Easter to becoming minions. And you wonder why they come back after that and they on a sugar high from all the candy they ate, and they rebellious because you let them be minions for a day searching for eggs. I said that out loud. I'll repeat it anytime you want me to. Sorry. Y'all ain't got you might not know, but you're gonna learn today. So this is what the kind of thing I'm talking about. So these demigods like Ishtar, and I could go on with what we do in Christendom. So he is so full of anger. He outthinks the demigod Thor to open the door that all demigods know not to go through. But if you should go through, you can get a wish. So now they've relegated what could possibly maybe be resembling the ultimate God. I still don't think it is, because it's just eternity. It doesn't explain who made eternity. So we still know that Elohim is not really being talked about in this. They're just talking about the demigods under that we've made up in our mind, and we're still in our little world here. So if you make it to eternity, eternity is not a place. rest. It's not Elohim's rest. Eternity in this concept is an entity that will give you one wish, like you are rubbing Aladdin's lamp. So this human who's killing demigods wants not to keep going through the universe finding demigods to slay them with this sword. Moderators. Wants to go and wants to go and find these demigods one by one and kill them with his God-killing sword. Why would I serve a god that can be killed? It's like the doorknob. Okay, so to hack his program, his mind is to kill every demigod. Now, I told you that Thor went to this meeting to ask all the demigods of the galaxy to join him to try and find this one human who yields this sword that would kill any of them. And then Zeus, the god of thunder, the god of lightning, he tells them, no, we're not doing that. He don't know where we are, so we're safe from him. And Thor, younger than Zeus, apparently, is, arguing, we got to do this. Gods are being killed. And Zeus, a god, demigod, says, this guy just killed a bunch of low-level gods. He doesn't bother us. We are who we are. And they're all sitting around wondering where they're going to have next year's orgy. That's the actual quote from the movie. Now, again, it's the movie. It's entertainment, right? It's just comedy and it's just movie, just fun. Zeus and Thor get into a fight. I gotta admit, Thor and his companions, they beat that guard up pretty good. They did some real work and then killed Zeus, crashed the party and killed the main head-appointed god. The stuff we entertain, I'm at an age now where it starts to make even more sense as to just how the enemy of our faith sees us as ignorant, and we keep proving the point. So when Zeus is now killed with his own weapon by a Thor who went there to get his help, the plot thickens. The man with the sword, the human with the sword, who wants to kill all these demigods, ends up getting Thor's weapon, opening the door to eternity to ask one question. Initially, he wanted the power. His one wish initially was to get the power to kill all gods at one time. That's what he wanted from eternity. Now, to the movie's plot and the good of the movie, love stops him from asking the evil wish to kill the demigods. Now we've made the demigods something to keep alive. We've now made the demigods who can't protect themselves in need of this eternity, and their existence is going to continue based on this guy's choice when he gets to eternity. All of these are words and phrases we use within the faith of Christendom, our faith of our Elohim, right? So he gets there. And he's there because he's angered. He's there because he's in pain. He's there because he's envious or he is revengeful. He's full of vengeful. He doesn't want to forgive these demigods for making a fool out of him, making him believe in something that did not exist. So now here's the end of the story. I'm going to stop here. I can go further, but I'm going to stop here. He gets there, and Thor and his human turned demigod girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, wannabe wife is dying. She helps Thor defeat the human. So two demigods fight a human so that the human doesn't kill the demigods. And so he gets eternity. The human gets to eternity anyway. And the half human, half demigod, she dies, and Thor's in love with her. He's now vulnerable and understands he's been pushing people away because he's not been operating in love. He's not been operating in trust. So now he realizes that nothing is worth anything unless you got love. Now, the whole time the movie has been going on, we've been dealing with the immorality of the orgies, the fornication, the perversion, and I really mean this from my heart. Every human being, I will not judge you. The word judges us all. But please stop trying to force me to accept something I don't believe in. If you do what I don't believe in, that's your business. Do you? Do you? If you ask me, I'll tell you what I believe and where I believe it and why I believe it. I'm not going to judge you. The word will judge you. The word will judge me. I don't care what you want to do. I know that Yahweh would none perish and all come to repentance. So apparently we're all, because of the knowledge of good and evil, doing things that we ought not so to do. But I don't want you trying to force me to accept your cigarette smoke or your sexual preference or your murdering preference or any of your preferences, because we all got to stand before the Father for our own. But when you start making it a campaign to force everybody to see you the way you want to be seen, and ram it down my throat. You don't want me ramming Christendom down your throat. And I promise you, any Christian that knows me, any believer in Yahweh or Elohim, El Elyon that knows me, if you are a Bible thumper, if you are a Bible beater, if you are a brow beater with your Bible, please don't be connected to me. Because Yeshua never beat anybody with a Bible. He never pushed it down their throat. He lived the earth. And when people asked him, he gave them answers to get them out of this earthen realm and into the realm of his kingdom. He didn't go knocking on their doors to force the fact that you need Jesus. And for you who don't understand evangelism, when Messiah sent them out 2 by 2, he did not send them to all the world. And I know what you're going to say about the book of Acts, but that's not what he did. Because if you read the book of Acts rightly in chapter 1, when he said, go ye out into all the world, he told them to go and keep Shavuot. Read the next chapter. But when he sent them out 2 by 2 to knock on doors, what he did was he sent them into Jerusalem. He sent them into Judea, a land expecting the Messiah to come. So in the land that was supposed to be expecting the Messiah to come, he said, go tell them Mashiach is here. Knock on their doors. If they reject that knowledge, that information that Messiah is here, because they've been told by the Pharisees and the temple worshipers, don't y'all believe that that Messiah is here? This boy Yeshua running around here talking about he's the Messiah. Y'all don't believe that tomfoolery. Don't believe that what's it called when that blasphemous stuff he's going to tell you. I don't believe that. So if when you knock on their door, tell them Messiah is here. What we've been waiting for is here. Hey, guys, in Judea, all of Judea, Messiah is here. Get out of here. Caiaphas told us not to believe that foolishness. Them scribes told us that there was some clown around here talking about, get out from my door. Get away from my door. You know what? Let me sick my dog on you. Hero, sick him, boy. And then you run off the door. He said, just kick the dust off your shoes, and it'll be worse for that place than for those that went through Sodom and Gomorrah. But those that do receive and say, hey, Messiah is here. Did you know that? And they let you in, speak shalom over their home. See, that's what they did. They didn't go telling people, you need Jesus. They went to people expecting the Messiah and simply told them, Messiah is here. All right. Okay.
This is Jasmine.
Hold on, Jasmine. I got to make sure the children, because the children listen to me. Y'all.
Whoa!
I like when the children listen. See, when the children listen, they respond. And Jasmine appreciates my dog interpretation. That was very good. Jasmine, who let the dogs out? See, even the dogs shall eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table.
The whole thing was beautiful. Movie quality, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yahweh be praised. If it's all him, he gave it to me. I couldn't do it if he didn't give it to me. So Edward Young, I hear you, bro. I love having fun. It's Friday. So let's finish this up so we can get out of here, because the preceding word should be ending in just a few moments. So what was I saying before I got the children creeping? Okay, evangelism. I want y'all to understand that if you are browbeating people and you tell them they need to know God, listen, if you're wrong. That's not what Messiah did. Messiah never forced people to know who he was. He walked through the land and people asked, what's different about you? People just followed him. See, when you are kingdom, you are attracting people. You ain't got to tell people that I'm a Christian, I'm the right reverend, I'm the overseer. You ain't got to do all that. When you speak, people will know something different about you. What is it? And then the conversation ensues. They ask you about you, and now you have been given permission to share you, not your church doctrine. And when you share you, it should be reeking of Torah. It should be reeking of Yeshua's example. You knocking on doors and telling people that Messiah is here, this ain't Judea. That's what he did. Because he came to his own received him not. Then when he says, go ye into all the world and tell the men, when he did that in Acts chapter 1, you got to now go read Acts chapter 2. When the fullness of time was come, all of them in Judea at that time in Jerusalem were waiting for the celebration of the giving of the Torah. Men from all over the world. You got a whole litany of nations and languages that were there, and that's what they did. They taught it to all the world. Now, you and I will teach it to all the world, because when we go back to our indigenous lands, when we go back to our neighborhoods, we should be demonstrating the word, and people inquire. Evangelism 101. It's not your job to go and force people to hear you talk about God. They need to see you living it. They'll ask naturally. That's how you have someone and you have their real attention. So Back to this thing about the movie. I got to get off of it. Sorry about my little joking around with the dogs and everything, but I think it was a good example. Here's what we want you to catch. This God killer still blows my mind. This God killer chooses love. And what I was saying that got us off on all those little rabbit holes is this. I don't care what choice you make. I don't care if you're my mom, you're my dad, my brother, my sister, my offspring. If you choose to be a murmurer and a complainer, if you choose to be a user of contraband, if you choose to um, be a perpetual liar, if you choose to believe that, alternate lifestyles, whatever versions that are your thing, you have to choose this day who you will serve. I can always give you good information, just like those alternate spaces give you information about them, but the person has to choose it. And if I'm ramming it down your throat, you're not going to choke me. I'm definitely going to run away from you if I don't try to kill you. I'm just telling you what we can't do. So I have a problem with you ramming down my throat every other commercial, every movie now, normalizing what is your preference of life, but forcing me to pay for it and hear you tell me about something I don't believe in. And I don't even have a problem if it's in something that's just normal. You have, in this movement of alternate lifestyle, and what many of you and I would know is biblically defined as an abomination before the Father, and you are paying platforms to push your message to everybody, whether they want to hear about it or not. I got a problem with that. So now we're hearing about my we make babies by I fell in love with some guy named Doug and my name is John, and we put our hands over a lava rock and we made a baby. I think you know the itinerary at that point. You know the agenda at that point. I didn't need to hear about the girl playing Robin Hood and she jumps up on the top of the railing when she ends up stealing Zeus's weapon after Thor kills him, and then she dips her head to the fair maidens and kisses their hand like she's a lad. I don't needed to keep seeing this all over in my space. So don't force something on me. Like I'll never force Christianity on you. Don't keep forcing your alternative lifestyle on me and make me pay for it through a movie. I said that out loud, and I say that respectfully. I don't care that you choose to live your life your way. That is your decision. I care that if you ever want to know something different, I can give you an answer because I'm living a certain way. And if you ever are curious about the way I live, I can render an accurate answer for the Father. It's not my job to troll you and to browbeat you because you choose to be a liar, you choose to be a fornicator, you choose to be an alternative life preference. That's your call. But this is what that movie has done. It's pushed that thing in 18 different places from beginning to end. And then the atheistic element, the alternate lifestyle element. Then you have the, killing of a God element. Then you have the God of your understanding element. And now you're trying to, through Thor movies, this is being pushed on our children, and you're forcing it in our schools. But you don't want Christianity in our schools. You don't want the Bible in our schools, but you want to force this agenda. If you're going to do it, be right about it. I said that out loud. and I'll defend it to the day that I die. And I'm not speaking hate. My name is Apostle V.W. Jones, and I endorse this message. You can't tell me what I can't talk and then force me to take what you talk and then make me pay for it. I got to admit, that's gangster. That's pretty gangster. But it's time for us to make sure we understand what's going on. So that's why I want to talk about this movie and see if you guys paid attention to just those 4 nuances. I got 8 more I can give you, but preceding word is only so long. Oh, here was the last point. To enforce the message of alternate lifestyle, they said, don't choose hate. And usually when we talk about hate, it's dealing with, hate speech about alternative lifestyle. If you and I should say that this particular thing is an abomination, that's hate, right? Choose love. A person's right. It's a person's right to choose their version of love any way they want love. Choose love. And every time you bring choose love, it's same gender on same gender environment. Now, they did use the main theme as a demigod masculinity, losing a partial demigod femininity. And that was a love scene, but every other element of love after that. And then they did do a love for the father and his daughter. He didn't take the wish to kill all demigods at once. He took a wish to bring his daughter, who his demigod didn't save, back to life. Choose love. Don't choose hate. Choose love. Now, for me, the problem came in is that Yahweh made this very clear. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of Elohim, and everyone who loves is born of Elohim and knows Elohim. But he who loves not knows not Elohim, for Elohim is love. So that means that love is of the Creator. And you're saying choose love rather than choose hate. Choose love rather than do this, that, or the other. Choose love, and everything else in the world will be okay. We can go back, just choose love. The message I get for civilization and society. But we must be very careful of normalizing through hidden itinerary and agendas, messages that continue to, as Yahweh prophesied, send a strong delusion that even the very elect might receive it and believe it and hold on to it. Zion, teach your children truth, because this message and this narrative and this type of an attack is coming directly for your children. When you normalize something, people make the mistake of calling it gospel. And that, beloved, is not the gospel truth. But if we don't know, we will let it just slip by. And then your child you sent to the movies for $26 a ticket, you now paid to have that preached into their hearing. So just know what your children are receiving, what's being heard, what's being pushed through the airwaves. And the reason I really stood out on this movie and came out on this is because it does not run the path of that show. It's not the way that was ever. It's the most off-topic, off-point marvel that you're going to ever find. I'm sure more will come, but that one definitely is. And that's what made it stand out to me. Okay. Well, I hope you guys had enjoyed yourself. I've lost one of my computers right now. It's just gone down to power. Minister Walker is not to know about it. Moderators, if she finds out that I have not packed my proper power source. I promise you, I'm coming for all of you moderators. I'm coming to get. No, I'm not. I'm just playing. Just don't let her know. Just don't let Minister Walker know I forgot my power source in my travels. Okay, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Did y'all learn anything, or was this worth your time to come back a second time for the preceding word on Let's Catch a Movie?
Absolutely. Excellent. Loved it. Thank you. Loved it.
Well, are there any who would actually object and not find it informative and or watch or listen worthy? Anyone?
Rogers.
Okay, Rogers. What don't you like? I don't like the polyester you wear. I just want to put that out there, right? I'm just joking. Elder Rogers. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, just for the record, I have on Levi's. Okay. Now, and then back to the movie. I am glad that I was able to listen to these broadcasts to warn me, because I don't want to spend my money for that junk. I mean, my children are grown, and they're grown, but I have to protect my spirit, protect my heart, and protect my mind, because I understand that we have to be, knowledgeable of what's going on in the world. I would rather learn from someone else than to go and sit there and all that kind of stuff. I really don't. I just don't like when that happens. And where I am, and from day to day, I see this stuff constantly, and it's so blatant.
Yeah, you're around children all day, right?
Yes, parents send their children to school supposedly to learn and get an education. They have their own little setup spots where they go and meet girls and girls. You have you have the whole gamut of
right drugs. It ain't just that. It's drugs. It's girls, boys. It's gangs. It's everything. Again, I don't care what your struggle and your sin is, because all sin is sin. And we think that oftentimes that to talk negative, not that you're doing that, Elder Rogers, but we think that, to talk about, oh, that's abomination before God. Well, the Bible says a liar shall not tarry in his sight. So whether they do an abomination or lying, neither one of them gets to enter into his rest. So there's no big sin and no little sin. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. No, go ahead, Elder, finish.
And so, like I was saying, I really have to monitor myself and my eyes, because I wear a mask and my eyes will speak volumes sometimes. And when I see things that are, or when I hear stuff that's contrary, I mean, it's like, if you know me, you know my eyes. I mean, I could tell you a sentence with one glance in my eyes. And I'm bombarded with this kind of stuff, and I don't want to spend my good hard money to be, sitting in front of that junk again.
Now,
so I appreciate this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wholeheartedly. Sin is sin. Whether you spell it in all caps or lowercase, it's still the same. With that, I'll yield my mic.
Now, I like that. Somebody make that a quote. Whether you spell it in all caps or in lowercase, sin is sin. I like that, and give that to Elder Rogers. I want that done. I want that. Yeah, that's fire. I want that before Sabbath. Sin is sin, whether you spell it in all caps or little lowercase letters. Sin is. I like that, Elder. Now,
thank you.
Now, here's my thing too. We got to remember that you can't normalize something unless you go a generation out. So you got to start. If you want to start a program, if you're going to start doing anything, you try to change your culture, you got to start feeding it to your children. Yep. You got to start feeding it to the children. You got to create a culture. That's why hip hop, the culture of hip hop, started with children. I'm not even. Would y'all like me to talk about hip hop one day?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Y'all need to know there's no such thing as holy hip hop. Hip hop is a literal culture that has led to the denigration and the embarrassment and the abuse and the perpetuating of quote unquote gangster life, the ignorant version of gangster life, um, and everything from domestic violence to addictions, ending up in incarceration of our young men and women today, and all the other things that go along with that, all those other trappings as well. So at the end of the day, we have to. Elder Rogers made a point. I want to touch it without stepping on anything she said. At my age, as I've believed for the last 2 decades, I will go and pay to see what's being taught and subliminally leaked into the mind psyche of our children so that I know how to give a kingdom's response and reply if I'm ever asked. If someone chooses to live an alternative lifestyle, that's your choice. I wish you wouldn't. Just like if someone chose to believe that selling drugs is the only way to make money, I wish you wouldn't. And if you ever get to a point in your choice that you are questioning your choice, I want to be there in your ear with a bag of wisdom because you're now conflicted with your choice. And see, I would that you don't get an abortion, but that's your choice. I would you would not use guns to bully people, but that's your choice. I would you didn't bully people, but that's your choice. So when the time comes that you get conflicted with your choice, I don't want you so far away from me because I um, show an unnecessary disdain to you and not the spirit you chose to follow, that when you decide you want to reconsider the spirit you're following, you don't like me and you think I don't like you, that you can't come and inquire of me about another option from what you chose to do. And then here's another piece to that. And I'm gonna leave this and get off because I promised to stop. I gotta go find my daughter. So watch this. If you also now be ye separate, saith the Lord, get away from them. All right. They chose, not you. What they eat don't make you go to the bathroom. It's not what goes in a man that defiles him. It's what comes out. So watch this. If in fact I show you my disdain because I was ignorantly taught to come out from among them, saith the Lord. Go back and read that in context and know what he was saying. We use it in church to say, if they doing this, you get away from them, you expel them from church, you excommunicate from them. That is the most ignorant and non-productive way to get a person to end up back into the house of Elohim that you can ever find. That's just plain stupidity.
I agree.
So if you show disdain because your nephew or a classmate decided that they're going to go into a lifestyle of crime, a lifestyle of alternative life living, a whatever they choose to do, and if you say I don't care, your son, your daughter, your whoever, if you show disdain for their choice as disdain for them, they're never going to come and talk to you if you're supposed to have the good of how they can get back to God. Just My Facebook just died. Somebody mad somewhere. Okay, we back now. All right. So I don't care what your choice is. I care to be there when you become conflicted with your choice and you're hoping for a different out, a different viewpoint. See, every man's got to choose in the end for themselves. That's what Joshua was saying. If you choose to go back to the fathers, to the forefathers' gods and the demigods that they served over in Egypt, y'all go ahead. But as for me and my house, yeah, we gonna serve Yahweh. And if you should grow up in my house and then decide to leave my house when you get old enough to leave, and you go decide you're gonna go to serve the demigods of great granddaddy and all them, that's your choice too. But whatever is in my house, we're serving Yahweh. And if you don't want to serve Yahweh, whether you're my wife or my child, you have your own life to live. This is where Christianity has become hated, and why you can't get people to even come back to him when they know they're conflicted with the decision that they made. There are people inside of certain elements that I've been able to minister to who would never come to a church because of how the church dealt with them with a choice they made. And then when they got conflicted in a midnight hour, late in the midnight hour, God gonna turn it around. Well, when they were being dealt with about their issue late in the midnight hour, because what they chose to do showed its true colors, they couldn't come to a safe place because there was none. And those who were supposed to have the safe place for them to come to and get them back on track, your spirit of spewing them away and spewing them out from you and calling them all kind of names, biblical names, never gave them a mindset they could come to you and talk. And guess what they did? They went from one bad place, they went from the frying pan into the fire. I really do know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you do.
All right, Wanda Clark, go.
Yeah, Apostle. I wanna say thank you so much, because I was very conflicted. I'm a DC Marvel fan. I'm one of those people that go to see these movies, especially Thor. And I believe it was before this one. I think it was Thor Ragnarok, where there was a little semblance of them changing his character to the push that agenda that they're doing throughout America, well, throughout the world.
Right.
And so when I watched this movie, right, I was going to go to the movies, and my son said, "Oh no, we could stream it." So we saw it on it's not Netflix. What do you call that? Fire Stick, and it was extremely clear. And throughout the whole movie, my son said, "Okay, we got to talk after this. We have to talk after this." And this opened up a door for dialogue. He's very well versed on what's going on in the world, but he wanted to have a deep dialogue about it, about what was going on. And he said everything that you were touching upon. Why are they forcing this agenda? Why are they forcing this agenda? Everywhere I turn around, Mom, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
He said, even being an approach. So let me say this, and because I know you have to get on. It was dialogue that Yahweh gave for me to give Torah information, for me to explain to him and use the dialogue why I
had his ear.
No. I can't get out. I'm so excited what you did. I observed Shabbat. It was an open door for him to understand, certain things that we learn in Shabbat. It gave so many open doors for him to understand where Yahweh has taken me. Not that he does not understand or know him, but all of those little nuances in that movie. He said, they taking these characters that I know when I was a kid, he was born in 91, and just messing them up.
Right.
He said they put it into that agenda. So I thank you, because I wasn't in the movie. I went away from this movie being angry, saying I'm not going to see this any longer. And these type of movies that I love any longer. And my son said, we have the built-in mechanism to say, because we have God, Mom, that we know when it's the agenda and when it's not, and we can put it away. This is what he said verbatim. We can put it away when we know what Yahweh is showing us, and we know what is wrong in the movie and what is right. Don't deny yourself the entertainment, but put it in perspective, Mom. So I want to thank you for doing that and getting your the mindset that you have to teach us, to show us so many nuances. I counted about 5.
Yes.
You said you had 8 or
yeah,
more.
I got 8.
So
I got 8, if not more. Yeah. And so and like you say, the big thing that we touched on is the alternative lifestyle. Again, I'm not fighting anybody's choices that you make. I'm not fighting you on any choice you make, but don't cram it down my throat. That goes for atheism as well. That goes for watch this. People don't catch this, but there was so much bloodshed. What they did was they tricked y'all. They did the violence and they made the blood gold.
Yes.
Y'all didn't catch that. When there was a time when one person killed so many people at one time that the blood that gushed was gold, and she just relished in the gold. You thought it was, she made it rain. Like, but the issue was the violence, the death, the mayhem, the murder, the killing, right? And then you are also watching all these demons come and these ghosts get all that stuff is always going to be laced into the movies. The issue is understand the message so you can know what our children, like Dr. That was a great point that you made, Wanda Clark, as well as what Pastor Rogers was talking about. You know, when you work around children or you're engaged with children on a regular basis, you got to know what they're absorbing so you know how to render an answer. If you're a leader, learn what is being allowed into society, mainstream, and being paid for. Seriously. Same thing with the rap music. I will listen to the rap music. I will pay to download, because if it's trekking, if it's viral, if it's trending, I need to know what my young people are thinking, because this artist has their ear. You want to sit back and act like you can't learn? That's learning. Now you learn not the ways, and I love what your son says. Because we are in a place where we are learning Elohim, when these things come, it doesn't mean we don't pay attention, because we know what parts to then say, oh, that's not right. Father, give me a way to be able to explain that to someone who thinks that way is right, in a way that I can explain it so that they understand that that's the movies. That's entertainment. Don't let that become your normalcy. So Jordan. Great point. Hey, Brother Jordan, love to hear from you, man. What you got, bro?
I was saying, if it's appropriate for this channel, do you think we can touch on numerology and how it relates to the entertainment world? So that's everything.
Oh, numerology is also part of your faith. It's just the fact that it's being used by other entities in certain ways. You got the Demetria, Gematria. Man, my words is going.
Gematria.
Thank you, the Gematria.
You're welcome.
All of that is important. People don't even realize how, the reading of the stars is important. They just made tarot cards and horoscopes out of it. Yahweh put the stars in the sky for signs. And Christians told y'all better stop reading that stuff. Astrology, and astronomy are necessary. It's how you're using it. And this is where Christendom and its ignorance always prevails and makes a bad situation far worse than it should be. Show them how the astrology and the astronomy is to be used. Just read Bereshit 1. He put the stars and the lights in the sky for signs. The Big Dipper is there for a reason, not the horror that they've scoped out for y'all. So that, along with the gematria, along with the numerology, numerology is the purpose for why you got a zit on your kanaf. So brother Jordan, that is something we can talk about. But I can make a preceding word out of that. Someone remind me to make a preceding word out of the out of gematria, out of astronomy. Matter of fact, just get shocked. Let's get some good shock, some good clickbait, but not clickbait. Put up horoscopes in the church. That's a topic. We'll do it. The horoscope of the church. Will scare people. They'll be like, ooh, they gonna talk about the horoscope. I'm a Taurus. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a this and I'm a that. Yeah. Times and seasons are real. Understand, Torah will show you everything you need to know about everything you are encountering on this planet if you pay attention and stop walking in with blinders on because of your faith or your denomination. I hope that helped, brother Jordan. Brother Jordan.
It does.
Good. We'll talk about it. We'll make platforms for it. All right, everybody. We're gonna let y'all get going. Was there another question? We got another cue. I got to get it. Any more cues?
One question, please.
I need moderators to talk to me. Do I have a cue, mods?
This young lady just came on platform.
I heard that. Is there anything
Go
else?
ahead. No, sir, there is not.
Thank you. I don't know who the young lady was, but talk to me.
Just want to know before you leave your thoughts on sororities and fraternities.
You try to start a fire. Okay. All right. She gonna start a real fire. Woo-wee.
Do you have time for this?
No, not that one. Not that one. Boy, we gonna burn down Clubhouse. We're gonna burn down Facebook. Boy, listen, Pastor's gonna be mad at me forever. Y'all gonna listen. We do need to go ahead and talk about the frats. And you try to, what's your name? Who said that? Who asked that question?
Bunche.
Hi, Bunche. Bunche, I want you to come hang out with us. We talk about them lightly. That's like talking about the Masonic Lodge in church, the Eastern Stars. Y'all, you know, we do some stuff. We in Christendom, we just do way too much. The frats, man, and the sororities. Woo, buddy. Some of the stuff. The Divine Nine. Huh? Yeah, there's a lot more than y'all think. You know. So I hear you, Ed. I can't do it right yet, Ed Young. I can't do it right yet. I got to set the atmosphere. We got to set the temperament for it. But I'll make it a program. I'll make it a program, and I'll just bring you all the facts, and you guys can look at it and take it for what it's worth. I'll do one on. I think I need to do a series on what's already in the church. And I can take it from Revelations chapter 1-3. All the different things that already are present in your church. Why the Bible declares that Satan already has a synagogue in every church and a seat in every church. While you have in church crying, holy, holy, holy. And that goes to all of this seeker knowledge of, you know, all the demigods and everything like that. I think we need to go ahead and have some time to explain all that. So I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it. So keep tuned in if you'll like this page. Bonish, but what is your name? Boni.
It looks like Bunche, but it's Bunche.
Bunche. Is that French? Is that French? Is that Bunche? Bunche. Bunche. French for Bunche. So Miss Bunche, just hit that green clubhouse sign for the proceeding word, and it'll alert you. And when you see the title we put up there in the next month, you'll be able to come in, and because I already have some programs already scheduled, we got some more that'll be coming. I'm going to add that one. It'll be a series. I won't just I'll deal with the frats one day, maybe a whole week, the sororities, which are basically the counterpart. And then we'll deal with the Masonic Lodge and the Eastern Stars and the 33rd level. We'll talk about all of it. People don't know what they don't know until they're taught what they don't know. Okay.
Oh, this gonna be good, Apostle.
I know. Y'all just trying to get me in trouble with people.
No, I want you to say the truth. Y'all learn.
Can't wait. All right, guys, we're gonna let you guys go. It's a joy. Um, it's a joy. I'm looking forward to having some fun with these things. All right. Any more cues we got, moderators?
No, sir.
It does, Young. I give 33rd because most people don't know about the 66, bro. Actually, it goes higher, but people don't realize it, and then we can talk about all the other things that y'all think are conspiracy theories, such as your Illuminati, such as your Satanism, such as your watch this. Here's one, y'all. Okay, let me ask a question. Y'all want me to give y'all one that really will shock y'all?
Yes, I'm sitting down. Go ahead.
Y'all need to sit down. Y'all need to sit down for this one, for real. Yep.
Amen.
Y'all want to sit down for this one? There's two. But because I love Christendom, I don't want to deal with them without a real lead in, because people will stop talking to you when you do these. Okay. Star of David.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Feast of Stars.
Come on with the other one.
It's way beyond that. That's a splinter group. And then the Greek symbolism that sits in everybody's church. You have the cross and the pie. Sits right on your remember and do this in remembrance of me. It sits right on the stoles over each and every pulpit, just about, and Christendom. At least those that are what we call organized and not rogue, free standing, just recently started on their own, But I got so much information in my head to share with y'all. It's just, everybody ain't ready for it. So we'll let Yahweh lead as to how we get those things. But just to chew on that. Yeah. Oh, and the last one.
Rogers,
what do you want? Yes, Elder.
I want to admonish all parents to please lovingly see what's going on in your children's lives. As I was stating earlier, we as parents, we send their children to school to get an education and to learn. But a lot of them, they come to meet up and get the hookup. And a lot of the hookups that they're doing, I'll just put it this way, they're jacked up. So lovingly, prayerfully, because we don't want to turn them away. We don't want to, have them so that they don't want to talk to us and all this other kind of stuff. And because of the way we might treat it or handle it, then that further turns them out into alternative lifestyles. But just know that there are a lot, especially in high school. So just let Yahweh lead you. And with that, I yield the mic.
Well, thank you. And that is the goal. The issue is, as a parent, love your child. You may have to love their choices, but they are, again, like you, a free will moral agent. You have been chosen, mom, dad, to be a conduit for another soul that Elohim has a separate plan from you for. They have to live their life. Now, while they're under your rule, you be a good steward. You raise them in the fear and admonition of Yahweh, but you can be, I can't tell you how many quote unquote PKs out there that are just crazy. They've been raised up in church, and it ain't just because the church was bad. It's just we think that if you have to be a good steward of the information, because they will have to make their own choices when that time comes. And don't matter what the choice is, whether it's contraband or lifestyle, Whatever the choice is, it's theirs to make. And you need to make sure you are giving them as much information before they make the choices as you can. Just like Elohim tried to do with Adam and Ishai. He gave them all good, but that tree of the knowledge of good and evil was there too. So that if they would have really latched on to the all good that they had, the curiosity of the evil that he would eventually show them would not have been enough to draw them. They would have been like, oh, that's evil. Nah, I don't want none of that. I'm good. I'm good. And we have to do the same thing as parents. And sometimes, honestly speaking, we don't do our job well. We think that because we're providing for them food, raiment, and shelter, that's parenting and taking them to church and putting them in children's church. Well, a lot of people got turned out in children's church.
Amen.
That part. So when you have a child, let me say this to everybody too. We've not been taught this, but if you follow Torah properly, once you have a child, one, you should have a child after you've established sustainability. And that sustainability needs to expand. Your children technically become almost in sort of kind of a way employees to your family business you and your spouse have made. So you don't have a child until you have sufficiency for a child. Now, we all didn't learn that in our cultures, especially on the Western Hemisphere, right? But when you understand the concept of Torah, the commonwealth of Yahweh our Elohim, when you have a child, your life needs to be so set that you now, for your child's sake, can put what you have on hold, because it'll hold you down while you train up your child in the way it should go. Because now your focus is on your child or children. So now you can teach them, here's what we got, here's what we do, here's how we're going to expand this, and here's your role in that. You have their undivided attention. They don't have time for all the other ancillary things that glitter and glisten and shine and can catch their attention. But even if it does catch their attention, they've got a parentally guided entity, a parentally guided experience.
Yes, that's it.
That's deep. What y'all not gonna do is act like y'all did not just get some gems. Ain't that what they say on Clubhouse? Some gems. We dropping gems. We dropping nuggets.
Good. We got them.
All right, everybody, I gotta let y'all go. Moderators, thanks for y'all help. Proceeding word, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh our Elohim. If y'all think this is worthy to share, I know it's long and lengthy. I know it takes different routes, but one thing we got spoiled with in Christendom was there's 7 steps to get God to move. There's 9 steps to get favor in your life. There's 4 steps to be healed. Can't do that stuff in those things. You got to filter life through the word. Sometimes life can take you on a bunch of different ways, and you got to know how to get back from each way it takes you, because life will teach you. Life is designed to teach you. Make sure you have not the decoder. Make sure you have the core of life, which is the word of Elohim. All right, everybody. My name is Apostle V.W. Jones. I hope you've been blessed. If you have been blessed, please feel free to share this. And more importantly, live it. If you got questions, I want your questions. Clubhouse, inbox me, back channel me. I'll answer your questions. If you want to have study time to talk more about a specific part that we discussed, maybe you're dealing with this in your own family. Maybe your child or friend or somebody has made a choice and you love them, but you can't stand what they've chosen to do. We will show you in the word how to live that out and be a hopeful place they can return to. All right. My name is Apostle V.W. Jones. Again, this is the preceding word. Father, we thank you for the opportunity and the time. We ask that your words that have been spoken be for the benefit of your people. I pray now that nothing that I've spoken, Father, is contrary to your word. So let the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, Yahweh. And anything spoken in inaccuracy, show it me. More importantly, reveal it them. Strike it from the record. And everything that is spoken in truth and accuracy, let that saturate the souls of these, your hearers and your people, blessing them, causing them to grow in grace and faith. As we prepare for Shabbat, and those that are in Shabbat, we speak Shabbat Shalom over you, that Yahweh meets you and you meet him right where you are in your home. Yahweh, fill our homes, fill our places where we've set up for residency for Shabbat with your presence. We welcome you. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we all pray and we all say, Amen. All right. StreamYard, take over. Close me out there. Clubhouse, this room will end in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Shalom, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope that this message has been a blessing to your very life and your soul, and more importantly, your walk with the King. Well, we have come to the end. I hope that you would consider becoming either a partner with us in ministry, or if you're not already a kingdom citizen, consider becoming one. By doing that, you can sow into this ministry so that we are able to continue to teach this type of ministry at a grand scale. Join us on all of our social media platforms and visit our webpage to make your contributions sure. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Shalom Aleichem.